Okay, Adam, let's talk about the best South African player that you could come. You're Frankenstein, not Frankenstein's monster, and you get to concoct this player based on everyone that we've had in the South African scene before. We're gonna break it down to a few characteristics, but I want to hear what your perfect player would be. So we've got game sense, work ethic, mechanical, and communication, the different aspects we're gonna look at. And obviously, as I always say, no Sonic or JT, because that would
Okay,
just be cheating.
okay. Um,
So
I
let's go.
think I think the easy one. I'm gonna start off with work ethic, and I put myself there. I think it's a
Good, fair
no-brainer.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough, mate. I was
Um,
hoping that would be the case.
Game sense.
No, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's hold on. Let's talk about that work ethic.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're not just talking about scrimming. We're talking about focusing on yourself as an individual, practicing, focusing on the team now as the IGL,
Yeah.
studying opponents. There's so much that goes into being a player, not just like shooting bots, right?
Yeah. No, definitely. I did an interview once with Goliath, and I feel like throughout my career I've not mastered or perfected, but I've gotten a good hang or a good grip of like the difference in how to spend your time wisely versus just mindlessly putting hours into the game. And
Okay.
it comes down into, I think first you got to ask yourself how much time can you actually put into the game, and when you figure that out, it's a matter of if you can identify your strengths and weaknesses as a player, you can really hone in on those strengths and excel. And you can
Yeah.
also work on your weaknesses or the weaker aspects of your game, whether it's maybe positioning or util usage. You can always work on that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's at least for me. I might not be putting in the most time compared to other players nowadays, but I think the time that I put in is a lot more valuable than a lot of other players are currently.
Efficiency.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and obviously back in the energy days, I don't think I was spending my time the best, but I was definitely just outright putting in more time than everyone else. Like there was no
Okay.
competition in that regard. Yeah.
How many? Just quickly before we shift onto the next topic, in the most, like in the prime, how many hours were you putting into the game per day?
um, just as in my prime, or
Yeah, like in 2019 when you
okay,
said you were putting the most time in, like what did
I
you reach there? Like,
oh bro, that was awful, healthy, unhealthy moments of my life. So I do not recommend this to any
yeah,
aspiring CS:GO player. But I would say it was definitely 180 plus. Definitely
wow,
180 plus.
wow,
Yeah.
that's insane. Okay,
Like
well,
leading up to the minor was definitely
yeah,
180, above 180. Leading up to Comic Con, I think the whole team was above 120.
damn,
And yeah, no, we grinded so hard at that boot camp. You
yeah,
came to visit us, I remember. Yeah,
yeah,
for that boot camp,
yeah,
we were grinding very hard at that boot camp,
always,
man. So,
yeah.
uh,
Okay, so there we go.
with these
Yeah,
things, sorry, with these things,
no,
it's a good learning experience. At least for myself, I went through it at a good age where I look back and I'll never do that again. And if anyone asks me for advice, I'll never recommend that either. I
yeah,
think
but
it's yeah.
not to say that that didn't have a positive impact in the moment, like in the time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
got you to where you are today, and it's also
Yes.
given you that experience. Now you know when you grind, you do it way more efficiently. You know how to
Yeah.
grind.
Yeah, it
Grind
was a
smart, not
great
hard.
learning curve. Great
Yeah,
learning curve for me to go through.
you know what they say: work smart, not hard. I think that's a big one. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Okay, so work ethic, you got yourself. I mean, listen,
yeah.
nobody can contest that at all. As long as you don't put yourself for every topic. So let's go over where are you going next from here, Adam?
um, Mechanics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Black Poison. I
Okay.
think if you take everyone's mechanics locally, I don't know. There's something about Robbie it's just different. I don't know how he does it with the AWP, with the AK, with USP, with Deagle. His mechanics are. I think it's very difficult to compare his mechanics to anyone else. Yeah,
Just in like a league of his own, basically.
he's definitely in a league of his own when it comes to his mechanics. When he came back from Sweden, I remember playing a couple 10 mans against him, and he would just do stuff that I don't know. I've never seen anyone else do it locally, at least while I'm on the server. So
Okay.
he was doing mind blowing stuff.
Yeah, Adam wakes up with cold sweats sometimes from those 10 man.
Yes,
Holding
dude.
A ramp Mirage with the AWP from
Oh
CT
yeah,
spawn, and he just swings
he
out
swings
and
out
he's
around, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, one bullet.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so we've got mechanical, we've got Black Poison yourself for work ethic. What about game sense?
Game sense. Oh, this is going to be tough because when I was looking at the criteria for this player, I've got a player that kind of fits both, but I'm going to split it up. I'm going to split it up.
Okay.
So for game sense, I'm going to put Trevor Carney. I think he's got a very, very good mind for the game when it comes to the team and also
Yeah.
when it comes to an individual game as well. I think he's the reason why I put him there as well is because he's kind of done it all in terms of roles, and I think it is important to go through that in your career to feel what it's like to be an entry fragger, to feel what it's like to be an IGL, to be an AWPer, to be a lurk, and he's done it all. And you learn a lot. You learn a lot more about the game, about your opponents, about yourself, because you are able to go through all the experiences of a round. You know, over your career now, you're not just AWPing the whole time. You're not
Yeah.
just listening to an IGL. He's done it all, and I feel that contributes a lot to your game sense. And on top of that, he's also played internationally, which definitely gives you different perspectives and
Yeah.
different ideas for the game, which for me contributes to the game sense factor of a player. So
Yeah.
Carney for me is I wouldn't say it's an easy choice to find a player that fits a game sense criteria for this, but
Yeah.
he is a good one. He is
Yeah, we have
definitely
a
a good
few
one for that.
options.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think, as you say, he's walked a mile in everyone's shoes, so he's
exactly.
got a very good understanding of how that role goes, how it plays, how to counter it as well in
Hmm.
situations as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. Good, yeah, well picked up on. I think,
Hmm.
I think his game sense, even just in situations, clutches, and all the rest, he always
Yes.
makes really good decisions. So
Very
yeah,
entertaining to watch him
yeah,
in the
very
clutch
entertaining.
situations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. I remember, and like, I'm gonna go on a tangent. I remember when we were
that's
in
fine.
India together, actually, and we were playing against one of the Indian teams there on Mirage, and he was
Yeah.
alone on the B bomb site, USP, bro. And it was the second half. I think it was like 8-7 in their favor. And now we went into the CT side, and he just taps like four of them, dude. Like clean taps, dancing around the site, like you with that AK clutch that one time,
Oh
like
yeah,
similar
yeah.
stuff, but with the USP. Just hit, and he just stands up afterwards, pulls his headset out the computer, like goes to the crowd and everything. Yeah. So
Oh, that's Trevor
and I was
though.
behind him, bro. Like the emotions were insane, dude.
I
So yeah,
love that. I
watching him
love
in a
that.
clutch is always the best. Okay, so lastly, Adam, to complete our perfect player, what about communication? Because that's such an important part of the game, right?
For me, I'm gonna have to go with Mistim. Um,
Okay, nice.
I played with him when he was a lot younger,
Yeah,
so there were definitely some positives and some negatives, but for me, one of his biggest strengths and something that I really enjoyed playing with him was his communication. He made it very easy to play around. He made it very easy to play 2v(x)s with. He made it
nice.
very easy for me to IGL as well. His communication was really, really good. And I think if you ask any of his previous teammates slash current teammates, they will share the same opinion about Gareth. He is very consistent when it comes to his communication. It's never you're never going to be surprised by what he has to do, what he has to say. It's
Mm,
always the exact same thing over and over. And sometimes you need that in a team.
yeah.
And he's got the right balance between not overcoming and not undercoming. So a very enjoyable player to play with in that regard. Yeah.
And he maintains his emotions really well as well, which I think is so
Yes.
important when it
Yeah.
comes to
Yeah.
communication, because you don't get flustered and
Mm,
upset
mm,
and
mm.
frustrated, and then you get you fight with people and the rest. You manage the
Yeah.
situation as well. Okay,
Yeah.
Adam. So excuse me, just to round it up, we got game sense, we got black boys, mechanical is black boys, and game sense is Kani, work ethic is yourself, and communication is Muslim. Bruv, that's a
That's
fucking
one hell of
insane.
a
Can you
player.
imagine putting that all into one?
Oh
You
my goodness.
catch that guy in top three in the world, mate.
I think so as well, bro. I think so
Yeah.
as well.
Okay, well, I know I'd hate to play against. I'd love to have on my team, but there we go. Best player of all time.